5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
Do I look like I follow politics?
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts.
What do they teach you to talk like this in some Panama City sailor want a hump bar, or is this getaway day and your last shot of this whiskey? Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. I don't like it any more than you do.
All right. The Fix Radio Show with Smitty and his crew. Welcome, 239-791-7002, 239-791-7002. Tripod and Peggy back there doing their thing. Blessed with always the lovely and vivacious Mary Frances. She's the go-to. She's our research department. She's our marketing team. She's our coffee maker. She's our guru network. She does it all. The one and only. Let's hear the angelic voice.
Hey.
Oh, there it is. If you have something you want to tell us or you want to be part of the show, certainly give us a call. Leave a message if we don't pick up, or we may pick up. 239-791-7002. It's 239-791-7002. You can always drop us an email, of course, fixradioshow@gmail.com, fixradioshow@gmail.com. Let's get this party started. You ready?
We're ready.
All right.
Let's go.
Every time when I look in the mirror, all these lines and my face getting clearer. The past is gone, and it went by like dust to dawn. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got the dues in life to pay. I know. Nobody knows where it comes and where it goes. I know it's everybody's a sin. You got to lose to know how to win. Famous lyrics by Steve Tyler with Aerosmith. An American original, another American original. Great song.
Yep.
Love those songs.
Yep.
Don't write them like that no more.
No, they do not.
Well, as it is, some people never do reach their goals or even dream because their life is senselessly cut short from tragedy. And it went well for 4 young men in Pennsylvania. It didn't go well for them this past week. On Friday night, about a week ago, 3 men got out of a truck, and in rural Pennsylvania on a remote farm, ready to buy a simple bag of weed. And Thomas Mio, Mark Sturgis were ready to buy some pot and lay back, kick it, and, laugh, joke, drink Coke, and smoke some dope. But the other man, Cosmo DiNardo, who was selling the weed, had a dark, grisly secret. He wanted more than just to sell them some weed. I think if you've been watching this story, you probably know how this is going to end. Not well. Not far from the spot, the body of another man killed earlier that day was in a metal container, and not far from him was in another grave. So DiNardo, good old DiNardo, what a sport he is, would later tell police that he had a Smith & Wesson .357 revolver. I mean, can you pick a bigger gun?
Right.
When Mio and Sturgis turned their backs on me, he said, I shot Tom in the back. DiNardo allegedly told detectives and admitted to it. On Friday, DiNardo and his cousin Sean Kratz, Kratz, also 20 years old, were charged with homicide, conspiracy, and abuse of a corpse, as well as with robbery and a weapons charge. A judge entered a non-guilty plea on their behalf, and they're being held without bail. So Donardo was also accused in the fatal shooting of Jimmy Patrick and Dean Fincanero. I'm not good with the Italian words, names, and I'm not good with the Russians either. So if I'm butchering his name, I do apologize. Dean Fincanero. How do you pronounce that? That's a tough one.
It's close enough.
It's close enough. Thank you. You're the best.
Yeah.
The 4 young victims who went missing last week were lured into the remote property with promises of just buying some weed, but they were shot and killed and buried in graves dug by a backhoe, according to the police.
Yeah, he did more than that. He actually put them in a dumpster
Yep.
and called it a pig
An
roast.
oil drum, I've heard, and tried to catch them on
Lit them
fire.
on fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
The victims were discovered buried on a large property owned by Donardo's parents in Soulberry Township, according to the statement from the district courts. And they said investigators found bodies of both Fincanero, Mio Sturgis in a 12.5-foot deep grave Wednesday. And it doesn't look good. I mean, what happened to just buying weed was never like this when we were young kids.
Right.
We never had any problem. Laugh, joke, drink, coke, smoke some dope. I mean, at worst, we were looking for an extra bag of chips.
Well, the saddest part about it is they were he was actually related to them.
I know.
He was like cousins, so
Jeez.
it was like, this is family.
And you better check your DNA, man. You got some crazy stuff going on there.
This isn't just somebody that just walked up off the street.
No.
He knew these guys. Like all his life knew these guys.
He did confess to the involvement in the killing, and in exchange for that confession, the prosecutor said that they agreed not to seek the death penalty. If I'm the parents, I can't take the death penalty off. People religious probably get mad and say, well, we all have to be forgiven. But you know what? Let God forgive him. I cannot.
No.
I cannot do that.
Yeah,
Some-
I think
some
if they're going
crimes
to
you
do
can't-
that,
yeah.
they should at least allow the parents, the family, some one-on-one time with these boys.
He said if we hadn't made the deal, we'd still be looking for Jimmy Patrick's body, which was buried about half of a mile away from the other graves. I can't predict the future, but that's what I believe. It's just a different era and a different time in a different way. Man. I mean, when you can't go out and buy yourself a simple bag of weed, which is halfway legal in half the states anyhow now,
right.
Whether it's medical or free or your buddies or recreational or whatever, it's a bad day when you. I mean, we're not talking about a bag of weed. I mean, you're going to shoot somebody in their head for a bag of weed because it wasn't good stuff. I don't know, or maybe because you thought you shouldn't have been paying that much money. Whatever it was, it made him go crazy. And let me tell you, weed doesn't make you go crazy. This guy was nuts from the get-go.
He was born that way.
And what's happened is those two soon turned on each other, and the blame game started. So they went after each other, and of course they blamed each other. He did it, I did it. Donardo shot him. Eventually he confessed, but the other guy, Katz, was blaming him, and it's going to save my ASS now. Everybody's trying to cover their sides, but a simple thing like weed, it's a shame because you have publicity like this now.
Right.
And with the controversy with weed now being pushed to be legal in some states, it's pushed to have medical benefits, which it does have medical benefits, and it goes on and on. But with all this, now they're going to start talking about, all this crazy stuff that a guy shot him because of weed. No. Don't confuse the two with mental illness and getting some weed. Okay?
No.
That's not right, man. You know?
No,
And
one had nothing to do with the other.
Nothing had nothing. And then they're going to bring in, of course, you'll drag in the gun rights. Then he shouldn't have never got guns because he was already, allegedly, from what I was reading, he's got some kind of nut case happening now where he's not mentally straight, and he was already deemed to be not mentally all together, which is obvious. But then they're going to drag that in now. But I don't know what we can do with people like this. You're going to find this every day. People shoot people for stupidest reasons in the world. It's insane. I don't know what the deal is. You know what I mean? So, what do you think, Mary? You think we ought to just legalize marijuana around for everybody? Everybody just get some free weed?
Will it stop the shooting?
It probably will.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it will.
It probably will, man.
I'm surprised they didn't legalize it a long time ago with all the taxes that they could have possibly collected on it.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. We said if we legalize it and we make it so much tax, because if you go out and party with some people and you get 2 bottles of wine, and if you're with a couple, it's probably you're going to blow like $40 for some good wine, for 2 good bottles of wine.
Sure.
We're not talking about Mogan David or MD 2020
right.
or Wild Irish Rose. which I know very well. But if you get some
You
money,
go way back again there.
I'll go Cisco on you. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Don't make me do the Cisco train.
Boone's Farm there.
I do it all. I've done them. Shit, I should do a Blue Nun. That's another story.
Oh my gosh. That is a wine, guys.
That's a wine, guy. That's it. So, but back in the day, if you could spend $40, you could certainly spend $20 for a Esmeralda. You know,
Sure.
if Esmeralda, everybody knows what that's a big cigar.
Yes.
But it's like a Slim, like a Minnesota Slim. So
Yeah.
you would certainly go out and buy that, and then just go back, kick back, and don't bother nobody. No shooting, no death, no nothing. It'd be a good time to kick back. So, my prayers go out to their families, and like I said, I couldn't let the death penalty go. That would be it for me. He'd be going all the way to the death penalty.
Yeah.
Somebody kills my kids, I want you to die. I'll forgive you after you're dead, but before that, I'm not going to forgive you. When you're dead, then I forgive you.
Yeah, there's one thing
That's how it is.
about killing them, but he tortured them. He did. I mean, he went way
And you saw the video of him coming out. If you haven't, look online. He comes down, you have him handcuffed, and he said, "What? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry."
And so sincerely.
I know. I'm sorry. Hey, it was a boo-boo.
Yeah.
My
He
bad.
was so sincere.
You know what? I got no sympathy for that guy at all.
No.
And of course, the parents are billionaires. They had a bail bonds for him, and you know, it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You find more and more people that are wealthy, their kids turn out to be nuts for some reason. I don't know what that is. I guess it's I don't know. They just get too much given to them. I guess I don't know what the deal is. But you raise your kids right, man. Don't tell them to kill people.
Right.
But there is some good news.
What is it? Out of that?
Yeah, no, not out of that, but there's some
okay.
good news. Another ISIS leader killed.
What?
That's right. Another one bites the dust.
All right.
Love it, man. Good news. The Pentagon said Friday U.S. forces have killed Abu Saeed. That's the one I can pronounce.
You did well on that name.
I did. Thank you, Mom. The leader of ISIS-K, they're calling it, ISIS Khorasan, the terror group's Afghanistan, whatever it is. The emir of ISIS-K was killed in a strike on the group's headquarters in Kunar province, July 11th. Chief Pentagon spokesman Dana White said. U.S. Navy Captain Bill Salvin, spokesman for the U.S. forces in Afghanistan, provided additional details of how Abdul Saeed was killed, which all I know, it was a drone strike, thank God.
Yeah.
And the initial Pentagon described it being killed in a raid, so we don't really know. All this stuff is hush-hush.
So they may have gotten more than
raid, drone, poison whiskey, I don't know, whatever it was. We'll just be glad that he got what he got coming to him, and that's another one that we don't have to worry about. Of course, there'll be another one, steps up, and this is going to be a cultural thing. It's going to take centuries, maybe decades, to groom these people out of this, you know, and their mindset that their religion is everything, and they hate everybody, and they're indoctrinating these kids. You've seen the videos; it's horrible. It's going to take a long time, and when the next one steps up, we got to knock him down too, and we just start to keep on going after him and keep on squeezing them till finally they get extinguished. You know, like the crazy Nazi party was.
Right.
So but this is another operation successful against ISIS-K. Sounds like the K thing kind of throws me. I don't know what that means.
I was going to ask that question. What
I
does
know,
the
makes me think
K
of
stand for?
I'm a special K. That's what I keep thinking of. So Abdul Saeed is the third ISIS-K emir that we have killed in the last year. We will continue until they are annihilated. There is no safe haven for the ISIS-K in Afghanistan. So it looks good for us there. We're moving on them. There's some other in the news that we're taking some more towns, more cities. We're starting to squeeze them. We're starting to finally work with the Russians a little bit. And our guys are over there taking it on the chin. And come on, guys, you're doing a great job. Finish them up, mop them up, and let's get you guys home safe and sound. That would be good.
The K is actually for the city that they were in.
Yeah.
Croatia.
Yeah, Croatia, whatever. But anyhow, we did lose 2 soldiers. So of course our prayers go back to the 2 soldiers that were lost in that raid or attack, you know. And I like the drones, you know. Since 2008 there have been 317 drone strikes. We've killed 2,160 Islamic militants and 67 civilians. Now you never you never like to hear about civilians getting killed.
Never.
But if they're hanging around with those guys and doing their dirty deeds, I would like to think that they're doing something with them. You know, they're harboring them, they're keeping them around. they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Like the old man used to say, you ride with the outlaws, you hang with the outlaws. And that's just how it is. So, people die in war and innocent people die as well. And it's sad, but that's the truth, and we must move on and move forward and take care of our business. So,
is there actually that many troops over there? 8,400.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's a lot of them still.
8,400 troops in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
still.
most of them are probably in supportive roles, but you still have the guys heading up the charge, obviously, leading them into the war and going into these towns and cities and like Mosul and some other ones. So, they're the tough guys, man.
They are tough.
The Marines, the Green Beret,
God bless
the
them
Rangers.
all.
They're on the front line, man, and they are studs. So you guys are doing good. We salute you and keep on doing it. So
yeah, God bless them all.
Oh, it's some other horrible news. This has got to be probably the toughest decision a mother and a father have to make, and it's never easy. There's a British baby called Charlie Gard. If you've been reading about it, it's an 11-month-old with a rare terminal medical condition who has been the center of this ongoing legal battle, and it will be evaluated with doctors from the United States if all goes as planned. They'll be examined by Dr. Michio Hirino, a neurologist at New York's Columbia University Center. He's developing an experimental therapy that has been used in at least one American patient with a similar but less severe mitochondrial disease. He specializes in myopathies and other neuromuscular diseases. That's a lot of words there, boy.
Is he from Johns Hopkins?
I don't know. I think he's in New York. But Hopkins is a good place to get treated if you're going to get treated.
Yeah.
They're at the top of them. And Harvard, they're the good guys to take care of you. The British baby at the center of the global debate, Charlie Gard, has this disease, and the parents have to make a decision. It was born in August with this mitochondrial DNA depletion syndrome, a progressive disease that causes muscle weakness, loss of motor skills, leaving those to have an unable to stand, walk, eat, talk, and eventually breathe.
Oh my.
I mean, it is just gut-wrenching. Doctors say Charlie will eventually die from his illness. And his parents, Chris and Connie Yates, successfully raised money in hopes of bringing their son to the U.S. for this experimental treatment. But doctors at the Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, where Charlie has been in since October, argued at the court that is not their choice. It's the parents' choice, and it's not in the parents' best interest, that in the child's best interest to let this kid go. And it's gut-wrenching. I mean, who's to say what's right? Who's to say if a parent has to look at their child and say, "Hey, I'm gonna turn the page on you. I'm gonna let it go because you're in that so desperate, so decrepit way that there's nothing we can do to help you." What do you say? You're a mom.
Well,
I mean, it's tough.
It's a very, very, very difficult thing to do as a parent, to look at your child and say, is this child going to have any kind of a life without support from machines? Are they actually going to have a life that they can sustain and grow and be a healthy human being? And you just have to get to a point where you have to lift that up to God and say, what should I do? You've got to. You can't just keep dragging it on and dragging it on and dragging it on. The quality of life for that child is never going to be an actual life that a child is going to have.
No.
It's not going to jump around, play, sing, swim.
No.
You can't teach this baby how to dance. You're not going to have it on T-ball. Those days have come and gone, unfortunately.
And you know, I used to think to myself, if I was in a situation like that and I was that bad, couldn't eat, couldn't walk, couldn't think, couldn't drink, I mean, just so depleted as a human being, would I want to be kept alive? I would not want to be kept alive like that. I mean, that would be torture in itself. I mean, if you're just laying there in a kind of a zombie state or whatever, it would be terrible. So, you know, I hope the parents can come to the realization that this may be the only decision they can make. And of course, there's some religious people that say, nope, it's all in God's hands. Let them handle it, and God will find a way. So unless it's some miracle, I don't see much happening here. They said that there was 11 to 56% chance of clinically meaningful improvement in the muscular function. That's what their doctor said. And this is the problem. You have some doctors that say one thing, others say another, and you're going to have this back and forth. It's just painful. So what would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do? 239-791-7002.
Yeah, because you have to realize that doctors are not God. They cannot predict everything. But you're talking to people who have got a lot of education there. They've got a lot of things that they're dealing with and they're working with, a lot more than what we'll ever understand. So we have to put that decision into the hands of people who can make medical decisions with the background and the history and the experience, and say, please, help me make this decision.
Yeah, there's no real
help me make this.
There's
decision.
no real
It's
win-win.
very difficult.
Yeah, there's no
Very
win-win
difficult.
here. Even if they bring the child here and it gets treated and it does improve slightly, it's not going to be, like you said, a life of long-term improvement, and that would just be tragic. Do you know? In the day, now this is horrible. This is horrible to think of this, but this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, we're talking about way back before we had any kind of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
If a child was born like this, and a child was so bad off where they couldn't breathe, eat, sleep, whatever it was, couldn't
Right.
function,
Yeah.
they would actually put the child in the well and put him in the well.
Yes,
and that's
they
how
would.
and that's how it used to be before there was really any medicine. And people are going to be mortified, but that is the truth. That's how they would do that, and then that's how they would end that baby's life, because it was considered to be at that time. They would say, retarded? I guess that's not. I know that's not a politically correct word now, because you get shammed if you use that word. But
mentally challenged. But there were many other things that may happen.
Sure.
At a child's birth, they could be born deformed.
Right.
They could
All
be
that.
Born. I mean, you have to remember, back in the 1800s, there was a lot of incest that went on. So you had a lot of these children that were born that were dysfunction.
Yeah.
I mean, they had an ear and no nose,
and at that time it was like it was like
fingers
sinful.
on their toes.
It was sinful, and they just got rid of it. So
absolutely, and that's the way they did it.
Speaking of sinful, I got something that I saw today that was really sinful. I went to a beautiful place down here. Mary Frances and I went to actually shopping this morning for the studio. We stopped at Home Depot, and we saw this young man standing there, just so brazen, with his nice garb on and his drawers down and hanging out. And, I just want young folks to understand this is not successful, okay? I don't know what cool is, but this ain't it. And this screams nothing but I'm lazy and I'm unemployable, okay? So if you think that you're going to do something in life, don't dress like this guy. And I think that walking around in Home Depot, we heard everybody making comments.
Oh, yeah.
People were making comments. They were livid.
Appalled.
They said, look, we've got kids coming around here. We've got parents with their child holding hands. They've got to see this. I kind of agree. Now, if you want to hang out, lay up, drink Coke, and hang your underwear down to your ankles or your knees, that's your business. But you're in public, man. Show some decency. I don't care who you are, where you come from, but act like you got some sense, as the old man would say, and slap you in the head. And just so people don't know, in case the guy that was doing this was so hip and cool, the history behind having your drawers halfway down actually started in jail.
In prison, yeah.
In prison. And that was to signal other prison inmates that you were available for sexual attraction. When you had your buns hanging out and you were shaking it like a little bird going, and Adrian was over there going, give me some of that. So that's exactly what was going on. And so if you think you're cool, that's what you're doing. You're telling people. Now, Billy loves to wear his pants like that. Tripod back there. Tripod wear his pants like that in a minute. I've seen him wear his pants like that. Oh, yeah. He loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it.
His mama taught him better.
She taught him better, but he don't listen sometimes.
That's
So-
only when he's
So
working.
maybe we can get a picture of him with his drawers down again.
Oh my gosh, no!
I've seen him. I've
you
seen
better
him.
quit that rumor. It's
Drinking,
a rumor.
running around.
It's a
Look, he
rumor.
knows. I've seen it.
Smitty.
You know, a shorty and a 40 gets him right off the
Oh
get-go.
my gosh,
He can be had.
is
He can
not
be
true.
had. I'm telling you, boys.
that is not true. You better quit. He will. You know.
Oh, I know.
you
He's going to attack me
he's only
afterwards.
across the room here.
He's behind the booth. Thank goodness he can't talk. All right. Well, look, thanks everybody for coming in and checking out the show. Don't forget, shoot us an email at fixradioshow@gmail.com, fixradioshow@gmail.com. And also drop us a voicemail if you want to talk and speak your mind. 239-791-7002 if you dare. 791-7002 from Florida. That's the 239 Exchange. We'll check out with you Tuesday. Have a great Sunday. Peace out.
God bless.